Welcome, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today here in this new amazing AMA that we will do with Orbify. I have Benji here with me. Thank you so much for joining us, Benji. It's a pleasure to have you here with us. As you
Absolutely.
know, sorry.
Yeah, honestly, absolutely. It is a genuine pleasure to be part of this. And thanks, Marina, to the whole Gate.io team. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's definitely a pleasure. We were looking forward for this AMA. I think the community is also very interested, and you have a lot of things to tell us about the project. So, really looking forward to these questions. As you guys know, we will also have a space for you to ask questions. Please remember that you need to join us on the chat on the platform, gate.io platform, because sometimes you can guys watch it on YouTube, but the questions there are not valid. You need to join us here. But apart from that, everything is ready, and we have 1,830 Orbi for you to win, to share. I hope you guys are excited about that.
That's right.
Okay, as I said, thank you so much, Benji, for joining us today. He is the CEO of Orbify. And I would like to ask you first, like, if you could tell us a little bit about, or well, give us a little bit of an introduction of yourself, if you want, like your background, and then tell us, like, what is Orbify and like, why did you created
Absolutely.
it?
Absolutely. I guess first thing first, some introductions. So, yes, I'm Benjamin Osama. So, I'm currently the founder and CEO of Orbofy. So, we started Orbofy back in December 2021. So, it has been a long way already, and we've kept building for the whole bear market. But part of my background is that it's a pure in economics. So, I went to school in the US, kickstarted my career in San Francisco, in the Bay Area, and then moved to China to get into full mode crypto. And that was 6 years ago. So I've been in crypto for the past 6 years, and I've actually been one of the first team members who actually built NFT applications. And that was literally early 2017. So part of the first team doing this kind of cool stuff. Back then it was a different scene. Yeah, fast forward, we built decentralized cloud computing infrastructures, and then fast forward who we are and running Elbify as an AI engine. And in terms of what it is, right? In terms of why did we even create it, and what is the purpose? Is that especially when it comes to AI generated content, we believe that is the next iteration of user generated content and creative power, where everything that is being created online will have some sort of AI backend in the backend and will be AI generated. And hence why we do believe that the, beyond the fact that the opportunity is massive, that users and individuals and developers need these kind of tools where they can leverage those kind of like engines to create content that they want to monetize, content that they want to own, content that they want to use in their games, media apps, and as well for developers to access a full engine that they can use to create their own AI models, to train their engines. Where even right now, people can train and create an AI model on top of Orbify using a phone. But thankfully, so far, we have about almost 120,000 users already. It's about 3,000 AI models that have been created. In terms of search requests, it's about 38 million search requests per month. So in terms of people searching and looking for assets in the platform. So we have a lot of cool, we've been doing a lot of cool things, and we have some other cooler things coming next. Yeah.
Nice. Well, it sounds exciting, and also like big people, like a lot of people are into that, and it looks very interesting. Nice. Thank you so much for giving us a little bit of that background so we can get the context. Now I will focus now on the question that I have ready for you, and I would like us to tell. I would like you to tell us and introduce us. Like you now, you first introduce yourself. I would like to know now about the team. Like, tell us about the Orbify AI team.
Absolutely. So far we're about 14 people. We're all spread out around the globe. So my co-founders, one is an ex-Ubisoft developer at Ubisoft, one of the largest game publishers out there. And the other one is an AI machine learning engineer who's been building AI apps for the past 4 years, generative AI apps. So we have thankfully like very well solid team when it comes to position ourselves in the intersection between AI, gaming, and blockchain. So yeah, besides that, we literally spread out from Canada to Japan. like literally across all time zones. And we're looking forward to expand the team even more. And actually, our community lead was an ex-Gate.io. So, and we'll be bringing more. That's right. That's right. And we'll be bringing more people down the line. Yeah.
Nice. Well, then somehow we have like a some connection there. That's nice.
We do. We do. We do.
Nice, nice. Okay, my next question is how does Orbify AI differentiate itself from other AIs and like blockchain projects? Because everything is booming now with AI. Of course, we all can see it, right? So how you guys differentiate yourself?
Absolutely. So I would say the main verticals where we differentiate ourselves so far is part of the, I would say, scale of the infrastructure. So Orbify is primarily a consumer app and a developer engine as well, where you would see most of the AI applications, they're like mostly consumer related, even like in the Web3 space. We've provided an engine where people can build their own models on top. So it is a full-blown engine and infrastructure combined with consumer oriented creative tools. And so far, Orbify is literally the most adopted engine, at least in terms of user stats, at least in the Web3 space. Our data set is literally one of the largest in the world. It's about 25 million AI generated assets. And it's all a huge data set that enable people to not only navigate like an open ocean of synthetic data and AI generated content, but as well as to use that data set to train their own models on whatever content that is. So it is a multi-purpose chain agnostic AI engine, an AI model, AI content engine that enables people to not only create, but as well as monetize. And that's the last big differentiator is that on other platforms you can create, and that's where we believe we want to solve some problems for individuals and creators, is that how can you create AI content, but how can you monetize it? And how you even create your own AI model and monetize that model. But in a nutshell, Orbify is that engine and factual layer of all AI content and AI models on Web3. And that's what we're taking forward. Yeah.
I see, I understand. Nice. Well, thank you for giving us that explanation because I guess some people, we are getting into this new space of AI, and for some of us, it might not be that clear. I wanted to ask you now, how does Orbify token, OBI, works?
Yes. So back to the core of Orbify, as it is that main factual layer and production and distribution layer of AI content and AI models on Web3. So the OB token primarily, where it powers that economy, the economy of production of AI content and AI models, and the economy of distribution, meaning that you need the OB token if you want to get a certain level and keep generating AI assets or create AI models. It is the main medium of exchange between an AI asset, its prompt, and another AI asset. So it is primarily powers the economy and the transaction, of anything AI generated content, whether item is being sold or purchased, or a whole model is being created and distributed to the public or to developers. So, and the other vertical of the use of the Orbify token, since we will be releasing an API, and that is for developers who want to access the engine, access the data set, and just like integrate generative AI features into their apps. So the token will also be part of that, the value layer of that engine. So in a nutshell, for sure, as we grow, we will be adding more use cases and more utilization of the token as being as that in-app currency and in-system, in-engine currency. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Well, that's very interesting. Yeah, and also the fact that in a way you also encourage the community to be part of it with that engagement, right?
Yes, and we generally believe that the opportunity of incentivizing people to create is a major reason also why we wanted to issue tokens. That's how when you look at Web2, the Web2 environment and generative AI in Web2 is that there are no incentives, but having that part of incentivizing creators and the co-creation of AI assets is extremely powerful from a user perspective. It literally empowers people to literally imagine and create. And we like to think about it internally is that we power imagination, and we want to incentivize imagination. Yeah, it's a very exciting realm, if you want to say. Yeah.
Definitely. No, no, that is totally true. I think actually we are in a very exciting times, right? Where, as you said, we empower the community, and that also helps to even construct and build this industry that we are working on even more, right? Good. Well, thank you so much for telling us all this and explaining that. I would like to ask you now, what are some key milestones that Orbify team and the project has achieved so far?
So far, yeah. Thankfully, since we've been building and building products and partnerships and creating ecosystems since December 2021, thankfully we have achieved many milestones. I'd say the latest one, of course, is that we hit that user milestones at 120,000 users. For us, it is a big milestone. In terms of like the user stats that are growing almost 20% week over week. The latest one, of course, is that we released the token. We got listed on Gate. So that was there's also a continuing milestone at the moment. And we've listed it on many different exchanges. Also to start powering and creating that economy and that value layer. Besides that, we've built. I don't know if you know Triller, but Triller is a giant social media company. And back in February, we created a 3D space for them. It was we partnered for them, and it's a literally $5 billion company. And we built a 3D space for them for the NBA All-Star Weekend that happened last February. And that was a big milestone for us. The reason why is partnering with such a massive Web2 entity that definitely gives some extra validity and great use cases, most importantly. And we have some really cool things coming in the pipeline. Another similar use case is that back in October, we actually built one of the official 3D space for the World Cup, and we also leveraged some of our AI systems. The World Cup, the soccer World Cup, because we partnered with a company called the Qatar Digital Twin that was supported with the royal family, the Qatari one. That's why we've been able to get a license and build an official World Cup space. And we leveraged some of our AI tools for that. So that was a great use case, a great milestone for us in October. Coming next, we have some other amazing ones. We have next come in a very important and I'd say a breakthrough, at least in terms of licensing and brands, is that we created the world's first branded AI model, and that is in partnership with a Hollywood actor. It's a really exciting use case. So we give a few glimpses here and there, but that's something we've been working on like for months, right? Especially like getting the licensing done, getting like all that, all the logistics and everything, and the creative part of it. So we're very excited. We're going to share some news about that quite soon. Besides that, a lot of development milestones coming next, a lot of great partnerships, and yeah, good stuff in a nutshell.
Nice. Definitely sound excited. A lot of things at the same time. So congratulations, guys, because we all know those things are not easy to, achieve, and that's a lot of work. So congratulations. But you got me super intrigued with that Hollywood actor partnership, and it's like, ooh. So I just obviously I guess you still need to keep that to yourself, but I bet the moment you have it ready, you will just post it, on your social media channels. So guys, just stay tuned
That's right.
because I bet that's going to be exciting.
That's right.
Nice, 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 nice. Good. Well, that also like is very inspiring for the community. I bet to keep on relying on the project and see the future of it. That's really good.
Exactly.
Okay.
And especially when it comes to these kind of like activating use cases, it's really important. And for the community, for the overall ecosystem, it's very important to keep activating different. And we talk about like brand partnership, brand use cases, partnership use cases, product use cases. It's always important to keep activating towards a certain goal, right? So, and a collective one, which is really important for us. So yeah.
You're completely right there. Like it's very important. Okay, my next question is, can you provide some insights into the future plans? I mean, you gave us a little bit now when saying some of those goals that you're trying to achieve, milestones. But like in terms of the actual platform, maybe, or even the community, can you tell us a little bit more insights, sorry, about into the future plans that you guys have in Orbify?
Absolutely. So far, if you look at it from an actual product perspective, it is a web app that has a comprise of multiple different models, a huge data set, and the ability to create not just 2D assets, 3D assets. So far, that's what we're good at. But in the future, we of course will be releasing the mobile app. The mobile app that will enable on the way and on the go asset generation and model generation and monetization as well. And we'll be adding more content type, meaning we want to enable people to generate high quality 3D assets, entire 3D spaces, sounds, songs, videos, text as well. But anything that will be used in, perhaps it will be used, in games, media apps, or for whatever purpose, even like NFT communities, gaming communities, or even individuals. So now the system is that to provide a layer and a consumer app, both developer app, where people can create their own content and monetize it, and monetize, but perhaps even like use it for their own purposes. And that is where we're taking, at least for the next 3 to 6 months. We are activating different brands and IPs. That's what we want to, and that's for us is like we want to tackle this uncharted territory of licensed and branded AI models. We want to, yeah, it's a really interesting use case where you literally combine licensing and IP and an AI generated system where people and the fans and the audience will be able to generate that brand in an AI powered way. Anyway, it creates like a big spectrum, big scale of participation between the brand and the fans and the audience. It's like entertainment, IP, and AI is a great and charted territory. Yeah, besides that, product development, we're releasing our version 2 of the model training so that people can create better models faster and cheaper as well. Yeah, and we're adding more use cases like more chains coming next as we are multi-chain. We will be collaborating with other blockchain ecosystems, but that power the creation of these AI assets on chain, because that's of course a big part of where we're shooting for. Yeah, a lot of cool stuff, and we're just like invite the community to stay up to date. We share sneak peeks here and there as we go, and we share the features along the way. So yeah.
Nice. No, definitely. Everyone should stay tuned for everything that's about to come for you guys. Sounds super exciting, and like definitely you're putting a lot of work on that. Okay, now I'm reaching my last question, and then we'll go into the users questions. How do you plan to attract and retain users in the Orbofi AI community?
Yes, great question. And that's something that we think about every day. As we are in this growth phase, and how do we get to 1 million users by the end of the year? So we are improving our product, from the core. We are adding social features social features and gamification, part of the web app, and these are 2 key elements, and of course, incentives. And actually, these are 3 elements that we are implementing that will both increase the user acquisition and the retention as well. Especially once you create that social layer where people actually co-create and get incentivized to do so. That's when things are going to get really interesting from a user acquisition, as we have like some solid activations here going on as well. In terms from a developer standpoint, we want to keep improving our engine, and we want to have more developers build on top of us, which will again create another layer of scale, where not only people use the Orbofi app, but they also use apps that are built on top of Orbofi that will capture more value and just like more awareness as well. Yeah, so these are some primary things we have coming next to onboard more people, grow the entire ecosystem, and retain people. But we want to get into that very exponential growth as the opportunity is clear, and we are already spearheading it, but we want to further grow it. Especially if we look at some of our Web2 competitors. So a lot of people have been calling that the mid journey of Web3, and that's if we look at some of them, it's like millions of users. But in a nutshell, is that so far people who use AI generated content is in the hundreds of millions, perhaps in 200 million so far. Individuals have used or interacted with an AI tool or AI content tool, and it's growing really quickly. And we generally believe that by the end of 2024, beginning 2025, there will be billions of people utilizing it. It's going really fast. So we are positioned Orbofy to take part of that user growth and like people coming into the space. And we want to onboard more of those Web2 people to Web3 as well. It just creates more and better, incentivized and collective ecosystem, especially when we talk about creativity. Yeah, so that's in a nutshell. We want to get to the tens and hundreds of millions of users. We'll get there. It will take some time, but we'll get there. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. No, obviously, everything is a process. You cannot expect to have it just in a day. So,
Yeah.
but it looks like a bright future for you guys. So it's exciting.
Thank you.
Okay, well, let's jump now into the questions that the users can ask. Remember, guys, that you have no other than 1,830 OB ready for you. So I hope you're lucky. Remember also, please, I will explain now a little bit the rules, although majority of our community knows. But remember, please, you need to add your gate user ID at the end of your questions. Otherwise, it won't be taken into consideration. Again, also remember to jump into our platform from YouTube, if you're watching us from YouTube, to ask your question there. And please also don't copy other people's questions. Be original. Try to be yourself and ask Benji here as much as you can. And also remember that reward distribution will be done within the next 14 days. Okay, so I've been checking the chat for you, Benji, to see a little bit of the questions. There are very interesting questions over there. Some of them actually, I would say you have already answered with the questions I asked. So I will check and see what other questions we can have. But the first one that got my attention was, it says, the privacy and security are the most important issues in this industry. Can OB users be confident about the security of the platform?
Yeah, very, very important, great question. Very important question, and and a very sensitive one. And of course, security is a sensitive topic. And we put security, as one of our top priorities. So, as an example, we have been audited by the guys at CertTech in terms of the token contracts, and we've started the other contract auditing as well. As the main on-chain transactions that are happening in Orbofy is that where people are actually tokenizing and creating assets on chain and being able to distribute those assets. We mostly deal in non-fungible tokens. So thankfully, the level of risk as compared to DeFi or other platforms, where there's and so there's less risk involved. But of course, security remains a top priority for us, and especially when it comes to the security of the AI models. How they actually operate and how they actually produce. So it's the entire ecosystem and infrastructure, architecture design. We want to make sure that the security is on every layer, and that's in terms of security. In terms of privacy, thankfully, especially when we deal with AI generated content, right? And of course, we value data protection, data privacy as well, especially user data. We do not collect any data. And since a lot of the stuff is actually stored on IPFS, which is a decentralized storage system, so it's still more or less more distributed than at least Web2 AI apps. And that's, but in terms of privacy, since it is a new environment, AI generated content, especially when we talk about, this AI generated content, can I keep it private or can I keep it public? In terms of commercial use, that's the beauty of also AI generated assets and content, is that individuals and developers have full commercial control and they have full commercial right. And it also opens up new doors for privacy and as well for licensing, right? So there's a whole different layers and doors that open up. And I believe that regulation is still catching up with that as well. And for them, it's another new topic, how to govern AI content, especially when it comes to licensing, or people generating Spider-Man images, right? And hey, this is my Spider-Man AI model, where the guys at Marvel would come and say, wait, we do have this. So it's whole new doors will open up. So we keep our fingers on the pulse, and we are working with with licensing people and licensing industry to make sure that from privacy perspective, from a commercial use perspective, it's all going smooth. Yeah.
Well, that's very good. Actually, the next question that I thought was interesting, it was a little bit related to that because it says, how does Orbify AI token ensure the ownership and intellectual property right of AI content generated by users? And it's a little bit related, like what you mentioned before. Can you answer to that?
Yes. Absolutely, and it is a great question, very important part, part of the stack, where technically, so the token, at least, so the main purpose that if you generate the token, right? But when you generate assets with token, that final output, which is that AI content, that is the actual asset that you use. In terms of commercial right and intellectual property, so as an individual, I have full control and commercial right when it comes to my AI assets. Um, the thing is, and the thing that we're still, the whole space is still trying to catch up with, is that if a particular user generates like Superman images or like Spider-Man or like whatever branded content, where do we draw the line, right? Where there needs to be some sort of licensing involved, and that's how we are approaching it, especially part of the partnership with the Hollywood actor or other brands. We need to follow certain licensing part, just like enable a more trusted environment where other brands can participate in and create their own AI, branded models. But in terms of where even people can own their own IP when it comes to, hey, I've generated my Spider-Man images, but since the whole system is licensed, then I can own this Spider-Man and I'll be able to generate more, branded content. So there needs to be a good system involved when it comes to the IP, branded and branded content and user-generated content. Very interesting, though. Yeah.
Definitely. I think it's also a bit like, I wouldn't say complicated because at some point everything will like come out naturally in a way because it's just the way forward, right? But yeah, it can be from the beginning a little bit difficult, like how to manage, how to be able to give the right and the intellectual property rights to the right person, like how to deal with all that. So you guys are gonna put a lot of effort into that. I imagine it's gonna be a hard work, but well done.
Yes. Yes, but it's like a very important like part of the stack, which is because the more you actually create that trusted environment where brands, companies can participate in like fully, especially when we talk about big environments like at scale and entities at scale, and that's what we believe will create massive adoption. And that's why we put this this section like also like as a top priority, because that's how we want to be creating that massive scale, especially from in the Web2 world, and how we want to build that bridge in terms of a creative engine that brings more people to the Web2 environment to a Web3 powered value layer where they are incentivized and encouraged to participate in the system. But yeah, in a nutshell, very important. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, I saw another question that I thought could be interesting to for users who want to, start being part of the community of Urbify and like create as well. It says, is it possible for me to create, edit, and sell my own metaverse on the Urbify platform? If yes, how much does it cost to use the platform, and what currencies are used in the Urbify metaverse?
Yeah, good question. So I'd say in terms of to respond to this question, in terms of like building and selling a whole full-blown metaverse environment, not yet. Right now, where you can build and monetize is the assets that live on top of that space. This is more like 3D or even like a 2D game, like 2D environments. But that's what we have in the pipeline, and that's this has been the vision from since day one, is that to enable people to create full-blown environments with AI that they can of course own and monetize as well. Especially when we talk about metaverse environments, is that the kind of assets that live on those spaces can also be generated with our models. The kind of colors, the kind of spaces, but of course we want to take it to the next level where even a full-blown 3D space can be created in like a few seconds, perhaps a minute, and then be importing other game engines or any other like engine, like such as Unity or Unreal Engine. or even powered by the Orbofy engine itself. We can have like the like 3D space. So that is in a nutshell, at least as a summary when it comes to creating and monetizing 3D assets in metaverse environments. And we'll have like more types of content along the way.
I see, I see. Okay, yeah, yeah, of course, like everything is a process. So, but that's the future is kind of that way. So that's really good. Thank you for answering that question for the user. Okay, now I have two more questions that I've been checking that I thought they would be interesting. One of them is connected more to the current situation of the market in the crypto space. So it says we are currently in a bear market. So as the current market situation is too unstable, it holds investors back. So can you give us some good reasons why we should, he says, I should buy your token in this market situation, and also why should your token holder continue to hold?
Yeah. I'd say here is that, I guess to address this question is to go back to the principles. The first principle, which is at least the first one, which is generally the best time to get involved in a public market is when there's a lot of blood in the streets. And right now there's a lot of blood in the market. Like, you know, historically speaking, and it's like first basic principles is that it's always the best time to get involved and be patient and hold. And that's generally, what even like big institutions do small, or even individuals do. It's literally like it's based on the cycles. And people who have been in crypto long enough, they know the cycles are just like another part of like the overall. But if people are interested in and generally believe that AI will be a big part of the internet as it is already, will be a big part when it comes to the creative content that is online and the online experiences that will be branded, non-branded, and just like virtual content in a nutshell. Especially when we're talking about the internet, content is king. And content to the point will all be AI generated. So there needs to be a system that powers that. At least in the Web3 space, thankfully we are the most adopted ones. And the way we foresee things that we want to keep that dominance, we want to keep that innovation going on, at least on our side, and competitiveness as well. Just like the more products and the better products we can build, the better. The more users we can onboard, the more users we can empower with creative tools, the better. And we are shooting for the tens and hundreds of millions of users. And hence why it's a great time to get involved in AI space and to get into the AI bandwagon, a lot as the media calls it. But the AI bandwagon have already started, right? But it is a long lasting journey, where we have like still so much room for growth. And yeah, of course, people will make their own minds, their own examination and evaluation. But yeah, we're here for the long term. We'll build some really good stuff. Yeah.
No, definitely. And I think that like it is the future. So definitely will it's here to stay. It's for the long term, as you said. And it's gonna come so fast. Like now we think it's fast. Well, it's gonna come even faster. So definitely, yeah.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
last thing is that speaking of speed is that it's coming like right at you, and especially in our case that when you want to keep your fingers on the pulse, especially in terms of always knowing what kind of like new open source tech has come out, a new research paper. The thing about AI is that every day there are like multiple research paper, and you're like, oh my god, I can't keep up. And that's why we want to keep it, hurrying more and like be literally at the edge. So it's moving extremely fast, and like before you even know it, you already use AI in a lot of different things, creative work or non-creative work. So yeah.
Even if you don't want to, you will be using it, like even without realizing.
Oh yeah. Yes, exactly.
Okay, well, thank you so much for that answer as well. I have the last question. It's a little bit maybe more focused on maybe developers that can be part of your community and can want to join the platform. It says, do you have any bug bounty to check for weakness? And in what way do you plan to make your project more complete?
Okay. So I guess in terms of bug bounty, not yet, but we definitely want to be included some more bounties when it comes to helping identifying bugs and fixing bugs, but not yet so far. In terms of security, we have part of the team, the internal team, and the third parties such as Softic that help us in terms of like the auditing part of it and like the security level. But the aim is indeed something that we want to be introducing. But at least, so to complement that, so what we are releasing starting next month is not a particular bug bounty, but it is a bounty for AI models and AI developers, and it will be quite a significant one. Yes, so where we want to incentivize the top model creators. Like good tickets. We're gonna announce it next month, and just have to incentivize like some more collaboration and competition between different AI engineers and like model creators. Yes, so it's sort of like a bounty, like call like an AI model bounty.
Nice, definitely. Like, well, in a way, actually, that also will make your project more complete. Like, is what the user also asks, like, how can you make it more complete? That's and also another way to make it like even more complete. But nice. Well, we have reached the end of our free asking questions section. They were very interesting. There were tons of questions. So thank you so much to the whole community and the users who participated. We really, really appreciate that. Also, of course, thank you so much, Benji, for being here with us. It's been a pleasure. And it's been super enjoyable to have this conversation, this AMA with you.
Likewise, thanks, Marina, and to the whole Gate team. And we shall schedule some more down the line. No, great conversations.
Nice. Yeah, yeah, of course. And like, I will encourage everyone in this AMA and in the community to go and check Orbify and like join their social media channels so you can stay tuned for all the things that are coming, because a lot of things are coming for them. Like, they're going to be working hard, and I bet it's going to be super excited. Not only this and the next half year, but the years ahead. So that's like, congratulations for that as well, because you've been working hard, and it's going to be exciting for you guys, for your team.
Thank you, Marina. Thank you. It's been one hell of a journey, and it will be one hell of a journey going forward.
Definitely.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
well,
Awesome.
thank you so much, guys, for joining us today. Remember, you can just keeping checking all our AMAs. We will bring you even more AMAs in the future. We're excited for you to join us. Thank you so much once again for like dropping your questions over there. As well, congratulations to the 5 users who dropped their questions and they were selected. Very good questions indeed. And nothing else. Just once again, remember, you can join Orbify community, and you can be part of their platform and start creating with them, and obviously see their journey. And I hope you guys see you like in the next AMA next time. And once again, thank you so much, Benji, for being here with us today.
Thanks, Marina. Thanks, everybody. I'll catch you soon.
Bye,
Thank you.
guys.